Hey y'all, welcome to Thank You for Your Obedience with your girl CMIM. We outside. Give me a prayer because I hope this don't fall over because the wind is definitely blowing out here, and it's a good thing because I was kind of nervous it's gonna be too hot, but it didn't matter that it was gonna be too hot outside because my soul and my heart is hotter than the sun right now. Um, Before we jump into anything, thank you guys so much for all your love and support. More than showing up for myself here, I definitely show up for y'all because y'all definitely support me to be here. So I'm here. Um, hmm, I am here, and like I said, I'm outside because I had to come into the light instead of sitting in the house and be in darkness and let all that everything that needed to get out of me stay trapped in my house. And so I had to bring it into the light so it can like get to the Lord faster because I am grieved, y'all. I am grieved, and what does that mean? I'm sad and I'm tired. I'm sad and I'm tired. Um, and unfortunately, sorry, these ants trying to take me out. And unfortunately, because I'm still walking through certain things, I can't reveal it to you all just yet. But definitely just pray for your girl because God really got me out here trying to be strong. And I say trying because it's hard. It's really hard out here to be the soldier, to be the vessel that God intended me to be. I know a lot of y'all think I'm strong, but I'm really weak. And it's okay for me to be weak because in my weakness, He is strong. You know, God can be able to show up because I'm literally putting myself down because it has been a time. And God has a sense of humor for real, for real. And He's really out here testing my strength because if y'all been keeping up with me, then y'all know it has been, my last episode was about the year, literally 365 days to the date, for healing from the catalyst that sparked this movement, which was a very detrimental breakup. And the breakup wasn't the only thing that made me heal. It was definitely other things and other factors that played a part into that. But the breakup was definitely a catalyst to really get active. And not to say I wasn't moving before, but I just had to really get active in that moment because it was almost like I didn't have another choice. And so we were celebrating that moment to a degree, and a lot a lot has transpired in that very short amount of time. Um, but before we get into that, we're gonna get into our topic, and I'm gonna share our topic with you. Like I said, I thought I had overcome the space I was in, right? Like I thought I had did a good job at healing, and it was like I was gonna only need a year. I didn't need, I knew it was gonna be like an ongoing journey. But I thought a year of like consistent soul work, like, okay, God, you gonna give me a little break, or you gonna let me know like I'm good in certain areas. Nope. No, no, no. And subconsciously, I think I knew I was still gonna be on this journey as well because in my agenda, I wrote a part of the title. I thought just trying to be like, oh, year two, like chapter two, into a growth space, not necessarily trying to hold on to the idea of healing, but we're here. And God is continually wanting me to speak on this topic, even though I'm grieved and I'm tired of talking about it because I don't wanna feel like I'm I'm beating a broken, like I'm beating a dead horse, but at the same time it ain't dead for whatever reason. And because like I said, time and time again, God is really trying to get that residue of that hurt and that trauma that's literally lives in my nervous system and my body out of me, like completely. I am a better version of myself. I am definitely a wholer version of myself, but there's always more, there's always greater, and so today's topic was a response, just like the name of this episode. I mean, just like the name of this podcast. Thank you for your obedience. Was a response. Today's episode is definitely a response as well. Today's episode is called Chapter 2. What motivated you to heal? I know it's good. And the caveat to that is to let y'all know, like, I am love, and we'll get deeper and deeper into that. But first, let's shout out to my brother that prompted this topic, because we hadn't spoken in a long time, just because life be happening, and when you be grown up in this adult life, like, you don't necessarily get to talk to your people all the time. You do your best, and especially when you're going through your own situations, you can't even just talk to the people like you want to. And so, with talking to him, or him reaching out to me, just asking me how things was going, and I was just hitting him with, like, I got a new job, I done graduated, I started a YouTube channel, this, is that, and the third. And instead of him coming for what he was looking for, which was like advice, he took the time to stop, and he took the time to, like, pour into me and shower me with love, affirmation, and just let me know how far I have gone, and how far I have grown from the person that he met, like, literally, like, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. Because I'm outwardly and actively speaking my truth, and talking about my journey of healing. Like, this was the guy that I've talked about before, that at a time when I initially felt a shift, I cried in his arms, and I had never done that before. And I literally cried to him, and I told him, like, yo, I think I'm gonna be single at 30. This was right before my birthday. And to have a gentleman not trying to holler at me, like, literally a brother, like a friend, like, literally comfort me in that moment, um was very impactful for me. And me to be able to, y'all, this water just really got me. Me to be able to be vulnerable, but not only with another person, but with another man, you know um definitely shifted my life, and definitely shifted our friendship. And like I said, this was all around, this is around the initial, like, the first cry out women's edition. So God in that alignment was very on point. And so, he took the time to shower me, and he was like, not the girl that take, like, two-factor authorization, a secret passcode, and a lock and key just to get them to talk. She not out here exposing herself. I am. And with all the conversation we had, and him hearing my journey and hearing everything I'm doing, his, like, after all the showering, his first question was like, what prompted me to heal? Like, this literal words, what motivated me to heal? And the short version is, I just didn't want to sit in brokenness. And I knew, like, I was broken, because so much has transpired in our relationship, not just interrelationally, but as a whole. We went through a lot of stuff. And um I remember, like, saying things when I was homeless, and he kind of, like, jumped to it. Me being like, I don't want to be a burden to you. I don't want to be a burden to you. Really just being, like, out here naked, like, turned inside out for somebody. So to I don't feel like it was misused. I don't feel like, I don't know what's on me, but it's bothering me. But anyway, I don't feel like it was necessarily in vain. I don't think the things that happened was done in a facetious manner, but at the same time they happened. And when they happened, it was very detrimental, and I just felt myself, like, shatter. I felt myself shatter. I grieved, I broken down in front of so many people. Like, this is a time, and even in this time now, where I learned how to ask for help. Like, where I learned that this is too heavy for me to carry, help. And I'm doing that now, more actively, with my community, with my family, with my friends. Like, I'm now even more learning to ask for help. Not to be in that space where I feel like I can talk to somebody about certain things, but just literally being like, yo, let me run this by you to see if this too much or am I just being like a little punk. And to hear people like my pastor say like, oh, that's a lot to unpack. Oh, that's heavy. Oh, that's a lot to unpack. So to hear, a man of the cloth that's gonna tell me the truth, regardless if I feel like is light. I know it's heavy, but because, like I said, my situations aren't necessarily like outward. You know what I'm saying? They're not abusive. They're not, physical. I never really felt like my problems mattered, and I never really felt like they were even worth talking about. It was like, girl, get over it. You just in your feelings, but knowing like your feelings and your emotions play a huge role in like, your upbringing, your trauma, and how you live your day to day. And so I spent like 3 hours on the phone with him, not not talking about me, but more so like helping him, helping him navigate and start the process of healing, because you have to start the process and you have to actually heal, because if you don't, like, you would just be putting shit on top of shit on top of shit on top of shit, and all you're gonna get is a bunch of like stank ass shit, right? And so even with that, God been throwing shit at me too. I ain't gonna lie. It was just like literally just like last year when I felt like, okay, I had not necessarily confronted some things, but I had dealt with some things. I dealt with them the right way. Like, I'm good. I can move on, and boom, I got uppercutted. Same way here. It was like I crossed the finish line and was like, um, it was like, dang, I got through a year, you know what I'm saying? I was active with it, like I didn't play with it, I didn't shortcut it, like I'm good, like all is well. No, it was like as soon as I put my guard down without talking to God, that's the thing, I did not consult God when I put my guards down. It was like as soon as I put my guards down, it was like, and literally just got chin checked. And God was like, I'm like, God, why you allow that? He like, I never told you to put your dukes down. Like, I never told you to relax. I never told you to relax. You relaxed on your own because you thought, because you have been making better decisions, Sam. You have been making good decisions, but there's always better decisions. And I learned that from listening to, God, what's his name? Dante Bowie on The Basement with Some Ross. And he talked about how, because, like I said, because he was making good decisions, he didn't always consult with God, especially when they were small decisions. When with small things, we feel like we don't have to talk to God about it, right? Like we feel like, okay, we can make this decision on our own, like small decisions, and it's just like, nah. It's like consult with God about everything, because even though you have a good decision and you have a good decision, you don't have a God decision, right? And so I'm learning more and more promptly today. We're going to activate that for sure today, that I have to make God decisions and I have to consult with God, because we're because it's really some spiritual warfare going on. I know I've been in a space of where I've shifted my perspective, and I literally went from like, oh, I'm being attacked, oh, I'm being attacked, to I'm doing spiritual weightlifting. Yeah, that may be true, but also the reality of it is there is warfare going on. And like I said, just when I wanted to play kumbaya a little too fast, I got chin checked, right? And so I just want to talk about those things. And I want to talk about how in this time, the fruit of the Spirit has really been running rampant, on me, and has really been flowing through me. And the fruit of the Spirit in Galatians 5:22 is love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, and faithfulness. But don't forget about the long suffering, okay? That's one thing people like try to glaze over, but it's like, nah, in certain seasons when you are you know, being used by the Spirit, that is something that will come about. But at the end, it's just gonna all give God glory. And we just really have to know that and know it's only going to be a season. It might be a long season, but it's still going to be a season. And you're also possessing other things because weeping may endure for a night, joy come in the morning. And trust me, this is my weeping season, okay? Not even my whole weeping season, but today I'm going to weep. This evening I'm going to weep because I have to water. I have to water this tree that I am. You know what I'm saying? And it's like with the fruit that I'm possessing, sometimes, we say, like, don't let them steal your joy. But one thing about it, when you're the tree that produces the fruit, what people gonna do when they see your fruit on the tree? They're gonna eat it, right? And just know that when you are the tree that produces the fruit will continue to grow, and they might need it. That, you know what I'm saying? Um, One revelation I had, and I did speak with my pastor, and he kind of agreed, was that for me, when I was shattered into pieces, and I asked and allowed God to put me back together, when God gathered the pieces, sometimes God would give the pieces of you to somebody else, right? So they can be able to help you put yourself back together, just like Lazarus, and just like, you Lazarus needed help being untied once he was bound and brought from back to life. You need people to help you put yourself back together. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you might have a piece of them that they might need. It's an exchange. You know what I'm saying? And that's partially, probably they probably need the fruit that you possess. If you are possessing the fruit of the Spirit, they might have a piece of you, and you might have the fruit that they need. They might need joy. They might need love. They might need peace. They might need gentleness because they've probably been roughed up. You know what I'm saying? And it's not for you to necessarily turn those people down, because God will give the pieces to people you will never expect, right? And so, like I said, I am love. I learned from Joyce Meyer and in a devotional that my pastor gave me called "Being the Person That God Made You to Be," or something like that. In those regards, is that what it's called? Being the person God made you to be. Yeah. And one thing she said in one of the devotionals was like, love is not something we do or don't do. Love is something we become. So when you walk in, when you become love, you walk in love, you walk in God's grace, glory, anointing. You are literally, you know, God's active walking vessel. And so when you love, God's love is unconditional, right? Um, and I noticed that's been happening to me because my orbit and my aura is so big. I've literally been getting everything I've been putting out. So I've been putting out so much love. I've been putting out so much kindness. I've been putting out so much affirmation and all of that. And it's been poured into me in like a major way. I say that because I met this guy about a month ago. Shout out to Alex if you're watching this. I did not know him. I did not know him at all. And I bumped into him during lunch one time. I was designing an outfit, and he was like, "You need me to leave?" And I'm like, "No, like, you good." And so a week later, we bumped into each other same time at lunch again, and he actually remembered the outfit I was making, and I was just like, "No, I'm good. I mean, I finished it. It's all as well." So I'm sitting there actually gearing up to edit some content, and in the meantime, I start playing an episode of The Monster Basement, and it was a couples episode with him and his wife and another one of their couple friends, and I can't really remember exactly what they talking about, but because of the topic and the context of it, it prompted Alex to come introduce himself to me. Um, Mind you, the same day I had just left the doctor from checking on that wound I told y'all about a couple episodes ago, or last episode. Um, and so I was already very anxious, you know. because I that thing put me in the hospital for 2 weeks, so I wasn't trying to. I don't want nothing to be going on with that. You know what I'm saying? And so um, he walks over to me, introduced himself. Hi, I'm Alex. And I was just overhearing what you were listening to, and I just want to know if I could pray for you. Is there anything I could pray for you about? And from that moment, because of how my life has been going, I knew it was God. Like I knew it was the Lord. And I immediately just started crying. Like I immediately broke down crying. And I had to let him know, like, sorry for, breaking down in front of you, but I know this is coming from a genuine place, especially because of where my life is at right now and my connection to God. And I just know it's him. And so we chopped it up, had a conversation. He was like, you sound like a really amazing person. Mind you, he's married, he has kids. We talked about all of that. Like, he was just literally like, I knew you were my sister. Like, I knew from just this small snippet of what you were listening to, and now talking to you, I knew you were my sister in Christ, and I've been looking for people like you. He prayed for me. I even caught it on Instagram. It was like, y'all, God just took me out on my lunch break. Like, he's not playing about me. And so that's why with things like that, I show up here even in the midst of my hurt and my pain, because I know my pain is not in vain. On that same day, I think I had walked up to a guy. He was a coworker. He was ranting about work. He was always ranting about work. And I just walked up to him and, told him, good morning and have a good day. And he was like, Sam, you are such a light. Thank you. Like, thank you for being here. I didn't say nothing but good morning and have a good day. But I think he saw God's love all over me, and I was literally dripping in love. Same thing, that same day, I was talking to a friend, a coworker, and she said something along the lines of, why when everybody try to help me when I don't need help, or when I need help, don't nobody want to help me? And I said, I don't know, but I got you. And she literally sent back, Sam, you're such a light. Thank you for being in my life. Ever since I met you, my life has been different. Literally, I've known this lady for like 2 months. So things like that. I go to events. Everybody's like, we need you at this event. You look amazing. You're radiating. Like, you're doing this, you're doing that. We need you here. We need you here. There's people that, want to work with you, that's trying to snatch you up. Your smile is just so beautiful. We enjoy working with you. Your energy is just so great. And I'm just sitting there like, okay. And it's in abundance. It's in abundance. Even my pastor, he's my new accountability partner when it comes to showing up for things like this. And he's like, I gotta show up for me, because I do well for showing up for other people. I still am working on showing up for me. And he was like, Sam, I'm just trying to pour into you and squeeze everything that's supposed to come out of you, because I know I'm not gonna have you for too long. Like, I know God's gonna do something with you. He said that. My new boss said that. She's like, I'm just trying to see. I just need to teach you as much as I can, because I don't know if I'm gonna have you for that long, because people already want you. And so I say that not only is love flowing into me, but love and all this pouring that I'm getting from others is just like the fertilizer in order for me to continue to grow. Because if I sat in, if I was to be a petty person, because it's in me, I mean, my mom and my daddy and my friends, everybody. But it's in me. But if I was to taint this tree, then that fruit wouldn't be good, right? And so all that love, affirmation, all that came in a big wave, and it was just like pour, and I didn't even know where it's coming from. And now I know it's for a time like this, when I literally don't have the strength. And it continued to be, that fertilizer to continue to make this tree well, and not me like sit in that shame and that hurt. You know what I'm saying? Um, and at the same time, the shit that God is throwing on me or letting come my way, it's just gonna fertilize me as well, okay? But we not gonna smear the shit everywhere. We're going to put it where it's supposed to go. In order for me to grow, we're going to face it and we're going to keep on moving. Right? Um, yeah. And I know that doing this soul work, um, Tim Ross said, Tim Ross and Lorraine Cox, my bad. Lorraine Cox said, when you're stepping in your authentic power, you are, it's when your personality comes to serve your soul. And I think my personality has been shining so bright, and I'm actually getting to be who I was intended to be. And because I'm living outwardly, you know, all these good things are coming to me, and I feel like my power is growing. And that's not even like me being like, oh, I'm so powerful. People see the power outside of me. I'm just learning to receive it. And that's because I'm doing something that Tim Ross said. He said, when you declutter your soul, the decluttering of your soul releases a stream for your soul. And because I'm taking this time to really heal and declutter and do the soul work and declutter everything that's been blocking the stream from my soul, I'm actually am able to show up right now, right? Like I'm actually able to continue to produce content because it's literally just my soul, my authentic soul and my authentic power just flowing, right? It's really been a time, y'all. And the fact that I'm still able to show up shows the strength I choose not to acknowledge, right? Um, One thing I'm doing is, like I said, walking in love, learning to what Romans 18 and 12 says, and that is to live live peacefully with all people. Let me see what it really says. It says, mm, 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 mm. KJV version, no, NLT version says, do all you can to live in peace with everyone. The KJV version says, if it be possible, as much as life within you, live peaceably with all men. Now, I love the KJV version better, okay? Because it's the truth. Like, if it's possible, do your best. Even though the NLT version says, live peaceful with everyone. When it says, if it in that's what is that? Oh, my bad. That's Romans 12 and 18. That's in Romans 12 and 18. However, however, in Matthew 19 and 26, it says, humanly speaking, it is impossible, but with God, it is possible. So, even when it's times we feel like we can't live peacefully with people, we as humans cannot live peacefully with people. However, if we literally just go to God, like I said, consult with God, and we just really know He is with us, He is among us. Um, he goes before us, and He stands behind us. So, with that notion in mind, we can live peacefully with everybody. It's about them want to live peacefully with you, right? You can't make people do everything, but at the same time, you can do your part and do your best and your godliness to just be peaceful, right? And honestly, you have to confront these things, because if you don't confront certain things at that moment, it's going to come back around in a different season until you confront it. And so that's why I've been working so hard to confront something. And it's not even confront something. It's more so I want to resolve it, right? I want to find answers, and more than looking for closure, I'm looking for answers for me, right? And so, yeah. And with that, I know it's hard. It's hard to do, but it's really not that hard, right? We just have to really just step outside of ourselves to really do it. And when you operate in love, when you operate in God's love, love is unconditional. Well, God love is unconditional. God love has no boundaries. And Peter asked Jesus in Matthew 18:21 and 22, he asked them, how many times we should give? How many times should we forgive? 7 times? And he said, no, 7 times 70. You have to continue to operate in forgiveness, especially when you're walking in love. Um, and God will reward you for it. Like, for sure, for sure. God will reward you for it. Um, and more than that, when you start to operate in love, and really spew out your fruits of the Spirit, those around you will see it. And people that have been very close to me, in this season see it. My girl Coco, she makes it a point to let me know how strong I am and how far I've grown, even in the midst of me not seeing me. It's like as soon as I started to see myself, I went back into the darkness and was just so hard on myself, wasn't giving myself enough grace, right? But she makes it a point to encourage me, and she's with me a lot, so she lets me know, like, oh nah, girl, keep going, you got it. Just get outside of yourself. Get out of God's way and get out your own way. My girl Maddie, oh, for her 24th birthday, we had a Mean Girls party, and before the party got jumping, she was like, "We need to pray," and I was like, "Oh, that's cute." And she was like, "What you said?" And I was just like, "No, that's cute." And she was like, "Oh, okay, because I volunteered you to pray." And I was like, uh, uh, okay. And then before we even started praying, one of her friends was like, "This prayer is gonna be so powerful." And I'm like, "Wait, what did you see already in that 10 to 15 minutes of us getting acquainted that you knew, like, the words that's gonna come out of her mouth gonna be powerful? Like, God is already on her. Like, how did you know that?" Thank you. I receive it. All glory be to God. And I think that's why God keeps allowing me to be showered, is because I literally give him all the glory. He wants me to receive the blessing, but because I've given him all the glory, he continues, to reward me in that aspect. Even my boy Tip, y'all know I love James. Tip is my dog. That is the man I will always reference, that caught me at the altar when I was broken, like in the midst of homelessness, broken, not relational broken. Um, and he seen me recently at church, and he stopped, because usually he'd be at the door, but he made it a point to find me, and he said, "I'm so proud of you. I see everything you do. I always am encouraged by your little notes and your little links." He said, and I said, "Oh yeah, thank you so much. I'm learning to receive it, but I'm still in a space of, like, not knowing what's really going on." And he was like, "No, you better receive it, because you are literally like God in the flesh." Do you know how big of a compliment that is? I'm just a vessel, y'all. But at the same time, there was an artist on R&B Money. I can't think of his name right now. But there's an artist that said, "You never know who God is using." You don't know who God possessed in that moment to speak to you, to get a message to you. So if at that moment he saw the glory of God sitting up on my life, as big of a compliment as that was, I receive it. I receive it. I receive it. Um, yeah, I think I got everything out. Y'all know it'd be taking me some time. I'm looking around, to make sure I see everything. Um, but yeah, I'm operating in an abundance of love, um, and I'm continuing to be elevated. And one thing Pastor Ken said recently was that promotion comes when you protect the people that hurt you. And I've done that in so many different ways, whether, it was with old friends who I'm still friends with now, due to reconciliation, whether it comes from my parents, um, hi, whether it comes from my parents, or whether it comes from my relationship or lack thereof. Um, I have never on this platform talked down on anybody, bashed anybody, nothing. I've spoken my truth and I've held firm to the facts. I've spoken on how I felt about certain things, but I have never exposed nobody but myself. And I continue, and that's something I will continue to do, regardless of how people feel, because I have a abundance of protection around me that be like, girl, we don't know how you be out here operating like that, but it's literally because of the grace of God. And God don't play about me, and God's revenge and God's um, punishment is way better than mine. God's look back is way better than mine, and I don't even want that, with anybody that I feel like has done me wrong. I just want them to find peace. I just want them to find joy. I just want them to be covered in love. And I just want them to be as whole as I am, or actively working towards that wholeness, right? Um, And I remember not watching. Oh yeah, I was watching. I was watching The Breakfast Club. I'll be watching podcasts, y'all. I'll be watching stuff. Um, I was watching The Breakfast Club, and it was with DJ Envy, his wife, and they were talking about their book. And she was talking about, when he had cheated on her or whatever. And she said, when you are, that close to somebody, when they're your best friend, they become like your brother or sister. You know what I'm saying? And what do you do when your brother or sister get caught up in something? You cover for them. You know what I'm saying? So I was already actively covering for my best friend, um, in that relational space for my friends. You know what I'm saying? Because that was just what I was supposed to do. Um, and didn't even know, like, because of that, I was being promoted and I was being elevated by God. And I wasn't even looking to do that. I just didn't want to walk with that, what is that, grudge? I didn't want to walk with that. I already had my own feelings, so I quit. So I didn't want to add grudge to that. Like, mm-mm, mm-mm. I do have feelings, for sure. I am learning to continue to express my feelings. That is true. Um, Cause y'all, I was privy to some information today that literally it made me sad. I got chills. I almost cried, but I had to check myself a little bit because it was just like, mm-mm, mm-mm. And I know God got me, and I don't know what I know. And that's why I say sometimes I get tired, but that's why, what is it? Galatians 6 and 9, where it talks about don't be weary in your well doing. Um, because in due season you will reap a harvest. And due season is God's time, you know? So as long as I continue, and I'm working on that, continue to knowing that things might not happen in my time, but in God's time, I'm gonna be all right. I'm already all right, you know? However, chapter 2, y'all. Chapter 2, day 13. We got some work to do. So, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. That's full honesty. More will be exposed to y'all. I just have to let a lot of things play out instead of prematurely speaking on things. Um, I have a huge announcement for you guys that I want y'all. Was that a fish? I have a huge announcement for you guys that I can't wait to share and potentially y'all can be a part of. Um, and what I'm also gonna do, I hope this works. I'm gonna take a donation, right? I'm doing this all by myself, you know, and we need more equipment. We need more software. We need more things. We need to be able to book locations, and I'm doing it all by myself, y'all. It's not easy, so I'm going to I'm gonna add my cash app and send whatever. Send $1, $2, $5, $20, whatever you're led to donate. And we're gonna be doing this for some time, so don't feel obligated to give a big amount. You know, whatever you feel like you want to contribute to this movement, because that's what it is. It's a movement. I ain't going nowhere, as long as God sees fit. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna put my pride to the side, and yeah, it's like a ongoing GoFundMe, but without GoFundMe, just send it to the Cash App, y'all. Um, and to bless this even more, we're gonna tithe off that. Even if it's $1, we're gonna tithe off that. Just so God can continue to bless what we're doing here. Thank you for your obedience, and it's just us being obedient. So um, I love God. Cause let me tell y'all, it's been 100+ degrees outside, and today, when I decided I'm coming outside to record this, He made it a nice, cool, breezy day. Um, and that ain't nothing but the Lord. That ain't nothing but the Lord, y'all. And when I say I was literally fire, I was so sad and so grieved and just so tired. Like tired of fighting this war. But I'm just like, I learned in the Rock Houston launch that a lot of the times when God talks about, a lot of the times people talk about, the church being a hospital, church being a hospital. And yeah, that's the thing too. However, on a higher level, God be really making soldiers. He talks about a certain word in the Bible that was actually a military term. And as much as he, wanna, make people whole and things like that, he needs some soldiers too, because it is a war going on right now. This spiritual warfare is very real. And so being on this strong soldier list is something. Okay. But the Lord won't put more on you than you can bear. So I'm gonna just take it as He sees the strength in me more than I see it in myself. So yeah. Thank y'all for rocking with me. I appreciate y'all. Um, Stay tuned for that announcement, because it's coming. I'm gonna just waste some time a little bit. But thank y'all. I love y'all. Until next time.